Hello guys, this is White Wolf and we're going live, and I wanted to do this quick live here, and I'm still going live doing readings later, but I wanted to do this quick live about migrating with the new energies. A lot of us are going through a lot of emotional healing, a lot of upgrades, a lot of things that we're going through in our personal lives, whether it's life changes, major life changes, or even going through things within our health. So we're migrating within the new energies, and we're being led by our destiny, and we're being pulled into the direction of who we really are, and trying to channel the energies of the new future and allowing ourselves to maintain that present awareness, but we're allowing ourselves to really embrace ourselves and have acceptance to where Spirit has taken us, to where the obedience is leading us, to where the obedience allows us to overwhelm our presence with our awareness. So we're migrating with the new energies, meaning that we're connecting to our psychic atomic energy, and we're connecting to our autonomous knowledge, meaning that that knowledge doesn't have to come from a book, it doesn't have to come from something else, it doesn't have to come from someone else, but it really is the autonomous knowledge to know oneself, to really know that you have an apparent awareness of your autonomous knowledge. And being autonomous means that we're channeling from our own source. We're not getting it from different books, different psychics. Just channeling from our own source, leading with our heart, leading with our divinity, and migrating back into that beautiful energy of our destiny. So the parallel realities are coming more into balance with who we really are. So every parallel reality that you're tapping into, you might be feeling an aspect of that parallel reality that needs to heal within that dimensional ley line. So meaning that the dimension and the pixels and everything that we're experiencing as consciousness, as a creator, as someone who is breathing awareness into this universe, allowing yourself to see that as we're migrating into the new energies, we are seeing that every parallel reality, every personality, every emotional trigger, every emotion is being purified with the sense of you being in that teleportation of that manifestation. So migrating with the new energy, we are aligning to the bloodlines of the archangels, the dragons, and the galactic beings. So a lot of you are channeling knowledge that is not known on this earth, and you're here to bring that knowledge back into awareness. So a lot of us are channeling the wisdom, the energies of our archangels. A lot of us are able to channel our archangels, but we're all connecting to that new bloodline of those energies. So we're remembering our past lifetimes when we worked in heaven. We're remembering our past lifetimes when we were dragons and we created this universe. And also, we're just remembering more of who we are in this existence. So, for example, a lot of you don't feel like at home here. A lot of you don't feel like your creation is supposed to be here because it does come from somewhere else. So a lot of us will kind of feel as if we're out of place. Sometimes we'll feel like we're not supposed to be here. Sometimes we'll feel like being here is just completely pointless, even though we came back here and our higher self knew when we incarnated here that we accepted this path and chose everybody inside of this awareness of who we were going to experience, what we were going to learn, what we're going to gauge from that. So a lot of us are really kind of reflecting more about who we are and what we had to do to get here today. So that's the migration of this new energy that's coming in. So a lot of us will feel as if we're being pushed in so many different directions, and sometimes it'll feel kind of chaotic, it'll feel kind of crazy. Sometimes in the midst of chaos, creation really happens. It means that if that wasn't happening in your life, then that means that your path is important, and if it was easy, then everybody would do this path, everybody would connect to this energy, remember their consciousness, and everybody would use their gifts as a way to purify the earth. So a lot of us are reflecting source and having reflections of what we need to look at. Lessons, integrations, catalysts, no matter what it is, we're all being reflected something that we may not be looking at. But all of us are finally coming back into balance with who we really are. So a lot of you will find clarity in the midst of confusion. A lot of you will find clarity in the midst of challenge. And some of you will find clarity in so many different ways that it will really surprise you when you manifest something. So the migration of this new energy, meaning that everybody is tapping more into their telepathic powers, meaning that the telepathy is allowing you to connect to what you need to receive as source, what you need to bring as source, but also making sure that every type of information that you do get is exactly what everybody else needs. So a lot of the times it's not about the physical evidence that we always find here on this earth. A lot of people are always basing like the physical evidence, why haven't I manifested this? Even if you get like information that sometimes it hasn't happened yet, it just means that it's already happened, it just hasn't happened in the time signature that you're in. So a lot of us are just feeling this sense of like, oh my God, like what's going on in my life? Why am I experiencing this integration? Why am I experiencing this healing? Why am I experiencing all of these reflections? Why is it going all over the place? But sometimes it just lets you know like, wow, we're all here to create, we're all here to reflect, and we're all here to heal. And all of our soul's experiences, and knowing that we've been chosen for the path, the chosen always have it more difficult, it always is more challenging, it's always more crazy, and it's more of a joyride inside of a carnival. So a lot of us are really discerning who we really are, finding out who we are, and wanting to channel the embodiment of that energy of what we are, our energetic signature. So a lot of us are getting higher mentals, we're getting higher leadership, we're allowing ourselves to ascend to a certain degree that allows us to attract our dream life. Manifesting our dream life into oneness, but also doing it for all the reasons that are of a good nature. So all of us are creating, all of us are playing, all of us are doing the best that we can. So I don't know if some of you, I'm sensing that some of you probably have financial troubles, or some of you have had challenges in your life, or some of you may have initiated out of relationships, or maybe had a job change and you started doing your giftings. There's a reason for that. The reason is that it's allowing you to be led by transcendent reason and not by the reasons of our conditioning on this planet. So a lot of us are letting go of the conditioning. We're letting go of the lack of the unworthiness, but we're allowing ourselves to use our non-physicality to bring in and reinforce the physical within our existence. So we're choosing to be existence. That's the thing that we're doing here. And as we are choosing to be existence, we're breathing life into the space that does not have life, or has a lack of it, or a lack of an awareness. So therefore, if we're really seeing everything change in the world, that means the world is going through a change. That means everybody is changing. That means everybody is growing. That means everybody is shifting into this new vibration. So a lot of you will see that your giftings will do a lot of miraculous things that I was sensing. And I didn't even know if I was going to talk about any of this at all, because I never know what I'm going to say. But a lot of us are having miraculous giftings, miraculous healing ability, miraculous psychic abilities. A lot of you are going to be shooting lasers out of your eyes, being able to really pinpoint where the knowledge is coming from and exactly what someone is experiencing. And also, a lot of people are going to be using telepathic powers, but also being able to time travel at a great rate of speed that never has been seen before. I talked about this a long time ago on a video of mine that has like 10,000 views. But what we're talking about is that people are going to be able to transverse space and time. People are going to be able to perform the miraculous. People are already doing this. But I do think it's going to be more widely accepted. The acceptance of your gifts, the acceptance of yourself now, the acceptance of the alchemy that is inside of yourself, and the acceptance of who you assume yourself to be in this moment is the reconfiguration of energy. Meaning that the very point of the power that you accept, the power that you receive, the power that you're able to dissect within your reality will allow you to soak everything in and allow you to see that everything that you're experiencing is very much real. It's just reality changing, it's just the universe changing, but it's also showing us that we're in a very good place right now in terms of connecting to our gifts, reflecting our gifts, but also aligning to our gifts and seeing how it can really change our lives. So a lot of you will start seeing things manifest themselves while you're watching TV. I can't say how many countless times that I've seen something that I was watching on a television show I saw a car, I saw this like red Mustang with the top down in a television show I was watching one time. And literally the next day I see that while I'm at the park. So a lot of us, when we're watching stuff, when we're doing stuff, when we say stuff, a lot of that has a direct correlation of what we're doing and what we're breathing in or what we're inviting in. So everything that you're experiencing is energy. So you might see money all over the TV, and somehow money is manifested in your car on the car seat when you went and got into the store, and then you came back out, and then the money was just miraculously there. So a lot of us are doing the miraculous and we don't even realize it. So it was funny because I went to the store and we were getting like a furnace filter, and me and my girlfriend, and we saw this double rainbow, but it was like as if the rainbow is shooting out of the sky. So that's a gift. When the universe has you do something, even if it's arduous or challenging, or if it's just something that you've been doing all day, running errands, sometimes the universe gives you a gift and kind of like lets you know there's a reason why you do everything that you do, even if you don't like them. One thing that's been happening to me, and that's what this live is about, is really water. When you spill water, when you crack an egg and it gets on your shirt, that's a sign of a blessing. So every time that you spill water, or that water just gets everywhere, and then you have to clean it up, well, guess what? That means that you're on the breaking point of a blessing. And sometimes when triggers are very aware and very much present, that's usually the pinpointedness of you really attracting what you want out of your life. So when things get really heightened, when things get a little chaotic and crazy, and when emotions kind of get fired and they're kind of firing on all cylinders in the other direction, that actually means you're on the point of another breakthrough. So a lot of us, what we're experiencing, you're like, why does this happen to me? I say this sometimes. It's like, why does that happen to me? And the reason why is because we're always on the brink of getting to the end of this self and embracing the higher self. So a lot of us are going to be seeing the miraculous, we're going to see new manifestations, and we're going to see how our gifts are widely accepted, but also the very fact that you're accepted at this point in time. We're all accepted to do our gifts. We all have freedom. That's the thing about free will, is that it is an illusion, but it's an actual reality that we're experiencing, and it's as if you're choosing to experience it. So free will is the willingness to be free if you switch it around. So, but we put that word free in front of will, but it's the willingness that you have and the empowerment and the strength that you give yourself to choose the freedom that you want to do. So it could be like you've been afraid to ask your boss for a raise. You've been kind of kicking it around, but then guess what? Then he's thinking about somebody else giving you that raise. But then when you hesitated and you doubted yourself in that moment asking for that raise, then he gave it to the other guy because you were too shy or the situations didn't connect. And then the very fact, because you did not get the raise, is because you did not ask for it. You did not summon it, and you didn't force yourself into that moment. So a lot of the times we could be withholding stuff from ourselves. And the reason for this, and it's kind of like an energetic update, but really I do these every day, so everything is kind of like an energetic update. But the very fact that all of us here are on the healing journey, and we're healing how we experience life. And it's kind of like thinking like, oh, should I cancel the concert that I'm going to go to tomorrow? It's just simple things like that. Or I'm going to cancel my psychic appointment. I don't know if I want someone to read me or something like that. So sometimes when we put things off, or we put stuff in front of ourselves as challengers, as obstacles, as illusions that we're not willing to see through, then there can be a lack of acceptance. So, but here and now, and what you're experiencing is the very fact that you're migrating into this new energy, or you wouldn't have those doubts, or it wouldn't be a challenge, or you wouldn't have to overcome something. But it's not really overcoming something, but it's actually just getting to that next stage of your life. So one of the things they were telling me, and they're wanting me to kind of like repeat, is that the miraculous can happen in your life if you choose to accept it. Reception is something that you accept, and acceptance is beyond all of your personal biases, meaning that any justification, any biases that come through, anything that comes within the scope of your reality, if it's coming from an intention that is negative or an intention that is breathing a lack of an awareness of who we are, then we are assuming something that is not true. Exactly, like supernatural. It's so funny because in the church world, they don't think that Jesus did like the supernatural or the Apostle Paul. But yes, like exactly what he said. And I'm actually going to read your comment if you don't mind. What we commonly think synchronicity is actually natural ability. Same with ESP and supernatural. So exactly. So a lot of us are experiencing it day out all the time. But meaning every time they have deja vu, you collapse the timeline. If you saw the actualization of the moment reflecting to you in a negative standpoint. So think about deja vu. Every time that you have it, you were there in that moment before, and you remembered that moment. But then, that moment did not happen in the way that you remembered it. It means you have transcended the human conditioning in some way, shape, or form, but it means that you've collapsed the timeline and a dimensional ley line that wasn't allowing you to have that breakdown that turns into a breakthrough, meaning breaking down the old thought forms, the old sense perceptions, the old self, and having this breakthrough that turns into something of expansion, meaning transformation, transmutation, an elevation in energy and how you're channeling it, but also the light and the dark aspects coming into balance with one another. So, the migration of the new energies is the ability to accept it here and now. So the migration of energy is the acceptance of the new energies, meaning the things that we do every single day have an impact of how we feel, how we do, how we make decisions, how we perceive those decisions, but also how we illuminate the light of those decisions. If you see everything as the appearance of light, even in your messiest moments, even in the moments where you're not light, even though you still are, there's just transmutation. Every time that you have a moment where there is not light within your space, there is not a connection there, or there isn't a prosperous energy there, you are still of that. It just means that you're illuminating something else within your space that is not allowing you to grow and change and connect. So, a lot of us are going to be going to places that will surprise us. And that's another thing, that's the last thing I'm going to talk about in this live, is the element of surprise, the allowance of being surprised. If you like to be surprised, if you like surprises, just know that Spirit is going to offer up signs and confirmations and miracles to allow you to accept surprise in your life. The element of surprise is the element of allowance, is the allowance of reception, is the allowance of acting on your desired alignment in your choices, in your frequency, in your discernment. Whenever you want to go for it, whenever you want to breathe it within your space and really align with the energy that is pulling you in that direction, but meaning that you're connected to it simultaneously, and meaning that you're choosing to be positionless in this moment so that you can be that psychic atomic energy and you can align to that autonomous knowledge. Meaning that autonomous because you're channeling from your own source of creation. And there's one thing they wanted me to talk about for some reason. If people, and this just happens, I notice that people do this with me a lot. If there's people that are saying that you are trespassing on people, that means that they are trespassing on people. You know, people, places, and things don't have the final say, but I do believe Spirit always has the final say. And that's even for myself, even giving this message. I'm not giving this message for you to listen to me. I'm just offering the wisdom that God wanted me to give. There's a difference there. So, when people try to dictate what you want to do, or allowing people to tell you what to think, or say that you're doing this when you're actually not doing that. It just means staying in your own lane will always make sure that you're balancing your energies, meaning that you're aligning to your truth, that you're following Source's path, and that you, yourself, will look at everything else as God. And if you are dealing with like situations, circumstances, people, places, and things, just ask for the divine to handle that. I've really had to learn to just say, God, handle that person, or handle the situation. Handle that, you know? We don't have to fight all of our battles as if we're in a boxing gym. We don't have to do that. We don't have to Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield everything. You know, it doesn't have to be that way. Even though, and many times in my journey, I've done that. There's no shame in it. We have to fake it until we make it, and we have to play the fool every once in a while. Because if we do, we become very masterful by not knowing, meaning that we don't need to know everything at this exact moment. But the inner knowing channels through us and allows us to know everything that we're supposed to know. But the container is never ending. The filter has everything that it needs. So if we have acceptance of that, then we're excluding that. So there's always exclusion and inclusion with what you're experiencing, no matter what you experience within your life. There's always inclusion and exclusion. And that means that there's separation, and there's subtracting, and there's adding, multiplying, and receiving. So there's so many different ways to look at this. But all of us are migrating to that energy that are pulling us in the direction where life becomes more magical, becomes a constant manifestation. There's a constant state of like confidence, but it's not an overconfidence. It's an empowerment. It's a motivation. It's being led by something for once in our lives. And some of you probably do a lot of different things. You know, I don't know that, but be led by something by the end of the day and do it with all of your heart, and you'll never regret it. I promise you guys, you'll never regret it. So I've had a pretty long day. I'm going to be doing some healing energy. So if you guys want to take part in this healing energy, also guys, I have announcements. I will be going live around 10 or 11. If it's any earlier, it'll be 9, but I still got to eat dinner and stuff like that. So I'll be doing readings, healings, activations. There'll be $20 donations doing that live. And also, I do have a private session special for 1 hour for $100 and 2 hours for $200. So, but we're going to do some healing energy here. So accept this healing energy, receive this healing energy. And we're going to connect to our archangels, our guides, our dragons, and we're going to connect to the galactic bloodlines as well. And also this healing can activate blessings for you and manifestation for you. So if you would like to receive, feel free to receive, feel free to imbibe, and feel free to feel this power. And we're going to connect to the galactic, archangel, and dragon bloodlines. You're going to receive a heart activation from Archangel Michael. And we have Merlin coming in, helping us tap into light codes from his staff, replenishing the vitality within ourselves, activating new DNA, and also activating our psychic abilities. So receive this third eye activation as well. Recalibrate all the chakras as well. Allow yourselves to prophesy your futures, attract the destiny that is calling you, and be aligned with the calling of your own design and your own resonance and your own acceptance within yourself. Have acceptance beyond your own personal biases, and allow yourselves to channel your heart and your divinity. And accept these new energies and new timelines and new experiences on your journey. So we're doing the Kundalini energy, and it's going to be quick release but rejuvenation. And the Anunnaki and the Enochian angels are coming through, helping us implement psychic protection. And we're also going to collapse timelines as well. And as we're collapsing these timelines, we're changing the personality traits as well. So as we're changing the personality traits, we're changing the experiences and the emotions attached to them, allowing ourselves to collapse dimensional ley lines and connect with our 7th dimensional blueprint as well. And we're going to connect to our psychic abilities. So if you've never had any psychic abilities, allow yourselves to connect to your telepathy, your clairvoyancy, your clairaudience, clairsentience here and now. We're going to tap into oneness. We're going to tap into divinity. We're going to tap into our angelic presence. Eliminating fear, anxiety, or hesitation, whether it's with choices, finances, or even your giftings. Activating the ears, cleansing the nostrils, and cleansing the throat as well. Everyone take one last deep breath. Exhale. When I snap my fingers, you'll come back to. You'll have a greater sense of clarity. You'll know who you are. And you'll become the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, which is God manifested in human form. And so it is. So, that was the healing energy for this live, and I will be going live in 2 or 3 hours to connect with you guys doing psychic readings, healings, activations around 9, 10, 11 p.m. Eastern time zone. Also, thank you guys so much for being a part of this live, and also I want to give a shout out to my clients and the people who receive on me on those lives. You guys are really amazing. And also, just know that you're being pulled into the direction where you need to be. You're right where you need to be, and you're exactly who you're supposed to be in this moment. So don't rush things. Don't be afraid of the acceleration, but just know that it comes, and when it comes, we have to really embrace it and choose to embrace it so that we're aligning to our heart's desire, but also being pulled in the direction where we're not playing it safe, but also learning how to make impactful choices that allow us to take risk within our lives. So as we're taking those risks, but we're being daring, but we're having courageousness, and we're being fearless in that moment, and we're being thankful for the appreciation of the validation of the confirmation that we're experiencing. So a lot of us are experiencing this here and now and coming back into balance with it, but also seeing ourselves in a completely different realm altogether, meaning that we are the gateway, the source, the realization, the appearance of light. So allowing ourselves to do this will unleash and summon and create deliberately in a way that's not forceful. So being deliberate is not the same thing as being forceful. And at the end of the day, you guys got to be yourselves, and that's something I've had to learn over these past 4 years, is that being yourself means that you're choosing to live by your heart, living by your design, living by your energy, living by what you channel and bring forth. And if you do that, it will never fail you. Spirit never leads you astray, and Spirit will always lead you in the direction where you need to be. So this was my live, guys. I'm going to be going live in 3 more hours doing readings, healings, activations. So if you guys want to take part in those lives, feel free to do so. But I will see you later. Thank you guys so much for this live. And until next time, this is White Wolf. God bless and namaste.